What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Sacred Cards. Today I'm coming at you with an update to my Legendary Fisherman Umi Control deck profile. This deck hits me in the nostalgia pretty hard. When my friends and I were younger, back in 03, 04, we loved building theme decks, and my thing was Mako Tsunami. I'd build a deck with Legendary Fisherman, Umi, Fortress Whale, and a bunch of other water cards. To this day, I had to keep the deck alive, but knowing what I know now, I try to make the build competitive but also a lot of fun. It's a solid mix of Legendary Fisherman and Karyushin Control. I've been trying to combine the two and make more of a hybrid with all the classic retrain cards that have come out recently. I've done a boatload of testing with this deck, trying to perfect the ratios, and I'm very happy with how the deck performs. So with all that said, I'll go through my deck list and try and explain the cards as best I can. So let's get right on into it here. Starting off with triple copies of Ocean Dragonlord Karyushin. This is the retrain of Mako's very first boss monster. It is the heart and soul of the deck. While Umi is on the field, each player can only control one non-water monster, which isn't a problem for us because every monster we play is water. During the main phase, you can either send a copy of Umi or Karyushin Spell or Trap, you can either add a copy of Umi, Karyushin Spell or Trap, or Sea Stealth Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. Next, we have 3 copies of the man himself, Legendary Fisherman. While Umi is on the field, this card is unaffected by spell effects and cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking directly. And following that up, we have triple copies of Legendary Fisherman 2. This card's name becomes Legendary Fisherman on the field and or in the graveyard. While Umi is on the field, this card is unaffected by monster effects. Plus, if it is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add a level 7 water monster from your deck to your hand. And finally, triple copies of Legendary Fisherman 3. This card must be special summoned by attributing either Legendary Fisherman 1 or 2. When it is special summoned, you can banish all monsters your opponent controls. It can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and it is unaffected by spell or trap effects. Plus, once per turn, you can return all your opponent's banished cards back into the graveyard. Then the first battle or effect damage they take is doubled. Another great card for the deck is another retrain. 3 copies of Electric Jellyfish. You can send a copy of Umi from your hand, deck, or field to the graveyard, special summon a water monster from your hand, and if Umi is on the field and your opponent activates a monster effect or spell card or effect, you can negate that effect, then this card gains 600 attack and defense. I then play 2 copies of Warrior of Atlantis. You can discard this card to add a Legendary Ocean from your deck to your hand, so it's another way to see your field spell. And it's also got a beefy 1900 attack, so it's a pretty good normal summon if you don't have anything else. Next is another Mako Tsunami retrain, 1 copy of Mega Fortress Whale. This card has many effects and does a lot for the deck, one being that if Umi is on the field, water monsters can attack directly this turn. During your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, target a monster your opponent controls destroyed. Also, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can either add to your hand or special summon 1 water warrior monster from your deck or graveyard. And finally, the last monster we play is 1 copy of the original Karyushin. This normal monster fits the theme of this deck perfectly. I really like the utility of it being a level 5, and it's a free summon from the deck thanks to some spell and trap support. Now that's it for the monster lineup. Now moving on to the spells for consistency and draw power. 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. This card always ensures you have the pieces you need to control the board, whether you need a copy of Umi, Karyushin, or a Sea Stealth card. This helps you dig through your deck to get to what you need. Lets you banish 6 cards in the extra deck to dig 6 cards deep into the deck and add one of those cards to your hand. Now for the engine cards, or more engine cards rather, I play 3 copies of Fish Sonar. This card lets you add a level 7 or lower monster from your deck to your hand that mentions Umi or is a normal water monster. And if Umi is on the field, you can special summon a normal water monster from the deck. And next up is this wonderful field spell, 3 copies of Legendary Ocean. This field spell's name is always treated as Umi. It gives your water monsters a 200-point attack and defense boost and reduces the levels of all water monsters in the hand and on the field by 1. Very important card that lets you normal summon your level 5 monsters. And another form of Umi is 1 copy of Sea Stealth 2. This card's name becomes Umi while in the field or in the graveyard. This continuous spell makes it so your opponent cannot target your water monsters with non-water monster effects. At the start of the battle phase, you can special summon a normal water monster or monster that mentions Umi from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but destroy it at the end phase, giving us protection and good to reborn your copies of Mega Fortress Whale or Karyushin. And I then play 1 copy of this beautiful collector rare Armored Xyz. This card is here to facilitate the Armored Xyz package we play in the extra deck. You can target a monster you control and 1 Xyz monster in your graveyard, equip that target to that monster, then it gains the following effects. The monster's attack becomes this card's attack. It gains the card's attribute, and if the equipped monster attacked, you can send this card to the graveyard, and that monster can make a second attack. And rounding off the engine spells is 1 copy of Terraforming. This card is here as another copy of a Legendary Ocean. The key part of this deck, so you want to have multiple ways to access it. And next is 2 copies of Ready Fusion. This card allows you to pay 1,000 life points and fusion summon a level 6 or lower non-effect monster from your extra deck. This gives us easy access to level 4 or 5 monsters that we can use for Xyz materials or synchro plays, allowing you more opportunities to put some of the really powerful cards in our extra deck up onto the board. And finishing off the spells is a single copy of Instant Fusion. This serves a similar purpose to Ready Fusion, being that both of them are once per turn cards. I wanted to have more diversity if I happen to see one of each in my hand. Really good cards to help you extend your plays and put pressure on the board. Next up is the traps, starting with 2 copies of Sea Stealth Attack. It's a continuous trap that when activated, you can activate Umi from your hand or graveyard. When Umi is on the field, it gains the effects that once per turn, you can banish a water monster to protect your spells and traps from being destroyed, even if this card leaves the field. And at the start of the damage step, if your water monster whose original level is 5 or higher battles an opponent's monster, destroy that monster. And I then play 1 copy of Karyushin's Dark Reef. This just might be my favorite card in the deck. This card lets you send a copy of Umi to the graveyard to special summon 2 monsters with different names from your hand or deck that mention Umi or water normal monsters. Then if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon any number of level 6 or lower normal water monsters from your hand or deck. The idea is you set up with this card and Sea Stealth face down, activate this card as Chainlink 1, send Umi for cost, then activate Sea Stealth 2 as Chainlink 2 to immediately recover Umi from the graveyard so it is on the field when this card resolves. Next, I play triple copies of Ice Barrier. Such a powerful card, very underrated, and its first effect is not once per turn, being that when your opponent declares an attack, you can change their monster's attack to 0, negate its effects, and lock its battle position. You can banish this card from your graveyard to send a level 5 or higher water monster from your deck to the graveyard, then recycle a water monster back to your hand, even if it's the card you just sent from your deck. And now the last card I play in the main deck is a single copy of Full Armored XCs. I really enjoy playing this extra deck package. This trap is searchable with your copy of XC's Armor Fortress. It has the ability to allow you to XC summon using monsters you control. You can then banish this card from the graveyard to equip an XC's monster from your field or graveyard, and it gains the effects that if the equipped monster gains attack equal to that monster, and if it were to be destroyed by battle or card effect, destroy this card instead. That is it for the main deck. Now on to the extra deck, starting off with a copy of Full Armored Dark Knight Lancer. You can XC summon this card with a rank 5 or 6. It gains 300 attack for each material and equip card it has. Once per turn, you can target an XC's card in the graveyard, add it to your hand, but the best effect is that if this card becomes equipped to a monster you control, you can attach an opponent's monster to this card as material. Very powerful effect. And next is a copy of Full Armored Crystal Zero Lancer. You can XC summon it with a rank 5 water. It gains 500 attack for each material it has. If it were to be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can simply detach a material instead. But the effect I really like is that you can detach a material to negate all monster effects on your opponent's field. Next is a single copy of XC's Armor Fortress. You can XC summon this card with any level 3 or 4 monster, or detach a material, search your Full Armored XC's trap card and spell. If a monster equipped with this card battles, then any battle damage it inflicts is doubled. And next we play a copy of XC's Armored Torpedo. Detach 2 materials to draw a card, and if it is equipped to a monster and that card battles, then your opponent can't activate cards or effects and negate the effects of all monsters they control. And if the equipped card is an XC's monster, then your opponent can't target it with card effects. And next, of course, we have a copy of Bahamut Shark, and to complement that, his best buddy, Totally Awesome. Shark can detach a material from this card, special summon a rank 3 or lower monster from the extra deck, being your copy of Totally Awesome, which has the ability when your opponent activates a spell trap monster effect, send this card to the graveyard to negate and destroy it. You then have the option to steal that card and set it to your field, plus if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add back to your hand a water monster from the graveyard. Next, we can't play a water deck without our copy of Abyss Dweller. And of course, we have a copy of number 4 Sea Stealth Kraken. Abyss Dweller will increase the attack of all your water monsters by 500. And once per turn, quick effect, detach material. Your opponent can't activate card effects in the graveyard this turn. Stealth Kraken can turn all monsters on the field into water, and once per turn, quick effect, destroy a monster your opponent controls and inflict damage equal to half its attack it had on the field. Plus, if it's destroyed, you can special summon copies of Stealth Kraken Spawn from the extra deck up to the number of materials it has, which will always be 2, as it doesn't have to detach materials to activate any of its effects. And then following that up, of course, we play 2 copies of Stealth Kraken Spawn. This package and cycle can be really frustrating for your opponent to deal with because they keep summoning each other back. This card will quick effect destroy a water monster on the field. This card will destroy a water monster that your opponent controls. And if this card is destroyed, you can special summon Stealth Kraken back from the graveyard. Like I said, these cards can create an endless loop for your opponent and be really frustrating to deal with. And the last XCs I have in the extra deck is 1 copy of number 47, Nightmare Shark. Nightmare Shark can attach a level 3 water monster from your hand or field when it is summoned, detach a material, target a water monster it can attack directly this turn. Really good going for game. And next I play 2 synchro monsters in 1 copy of White Aura Whale and 1 copy of Adamancipator Risen Dragite. First off, I just want to say I love the ultra rare silver print on White Aura Whale from Battles of Legend. When it is synchro summoned, you can destroy all attack position monsters on your opponent's field, can make up to 2 attacks on monsters, plus piercing battle damage on defense position monsters, and if that's not enough, if it's destroyed, you can banish a water monster to special summon it back to your field. The main effect for Dragite is when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or effect while you have a water monster in the graveyard, you can negate and destroy it. And finally, the last two cards are my instant and ready fusion targets. One copy of Sea Monster Theseus and one copy of Rare Fish. Both of these cards are easy to summon and make great extending to make Xyz plays. They don't seem like much, but they sure do come in handy when trying to put pressure on the board. Plus, Theseus is a tuner monster, which makes for easy synchro plays. Well, that is it for the deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything you like or don't like, please leave me a comment telling me what you think. Be sure to like the video if you did and subscribe for more content. Thank you for your support. I'm SacredCards. See you all in the next one.